Hello, welcome to scr1tno Knitting Project podcast. My name is Sharon and I'm coming to you from Surrey in the UK, where I live with my family, 3 cats and a dog. This is episode 98 and today is Saturday the 19th of June 2021. Welcome if you're a new viewer, welcome back if you're a returning viewer. Thank you so much for joining me today. This is my podcast all about my crafty week. Now, if you are a regular viewer, you will know that I normally record on a Thursday for it to go up on a Sunday, and today's Saturday. I've had a really busy working week. It's been a difficult working week and I haven't had a lot of crafting time. So I had to delay the podcast, number one, because I was so busy with work, and number two, because I didn't have much content. So I thought I'd better have a bit of a delay. But of course that is then now going to have a knock-on effect for next week's episode, because I won't have a full rotation. So I didn't think that through, did I? But hopefully you'll bear with me for the next couple of weeks. I may have a surprise next week, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes. I'm just going to tease you with that now. So if I move straight into admin, this is going to be another non-edited kind of let's just go straight through and go for it. Because they're working quite well for me in editing, and I really don't have much time to get this edited and uploaded before tomorrow. I don't want to be doing it tomorrow morning, and it's like trying to get it up for 11 o'clock. So the podcast has a Ravelry group if you can do Ravelry. If not, if you are entering either of our knitter alongs, you can use the hashtag scr1tno stripy sock cal or scr1tno square a day to do your entries for the check-ins. And if you tag me in it as well, that's quite important because I don't always see the hashtag, but if you can tag me in it, I will then either make a note of you or add you to my story highlights. Now, if your account is private, I can't share you on my story highlights, so I will just write it down that you've tagged me, okay? So you will get included, it's just I can't share it and save it on my highlights. So we've got 2 knit-alongs going on at the moment. We've got the Stripy Sock Cal and the Square a Day Cal. Now, I've got a bit of an announcement about the Stripy Sock Cal. I was having a think about the pressures a year-long knit-along can put on people. Myself included, because I am doing one at the moment, and I'm not a deadline girl. I mean, you can tell I'm not a deadline girl. I never finish anything, and I'm well aware with my Cal I try to take that into account, so that if you don't finish your diary of the month sock during that month, okay, you don't get a double entry, but you can still put it in the next month. So what I thought was, come January, we will use January as a catch-up month, and there will be 2 finished objects threads in January for the whole year. And the way it will work is 1 finished object thread will be for a pair of socks from each of the featured dyers of the month, but not necessarily finished in that month. So for instance, if you have Giddy Yarns for, I think she was April, if you have Giddy Yarns for April but you didn't finish it till June, that's fine. You've still used a dyer from April, that's fine. So the idea is to take that pressure off, but also to reward you if you've got 11 pairs of socks from one of the many dyers throughout the year in January. Brilliant. So the idea is you have one of the February ones, one of the March ones, one of the April ones, one of blah blah blah. So you'll have 11 socks each from a different month, but doesn't have to have been finished in that month. So that will be one of them. The other one, to keep everything fair, is going to be for 11 socks finished at any point during the Cal. So if you've done 11 socks by now, you're in. No worries, you've done it. So it's just for 11 socks, basically. That's it. But there is a proviso. Please do not enter both, okay? One or the other. I want to keep this as fair as possible. So I want you to enter either one or the other, and there will be prizes drawn from both. So this is a grand prize draw. If anybody would like to donate prizes to the grand prize draw, I would be very grateful. I will draw prizes at the end of January next year. And I hope that this, if for any reason you don't think it's fair, could you give me some feedback and I will try and adjust it. But this way I figure if you've made the effort to use the dyer each month, even if you don't get them finished in that month, then you've got your own finished object thread. And if you're just knitting your stripy socks from stash and you couldn't do the diary every month because not everybody can, then you've got a finished object thread as well. Yeah. And I will work out a hashtag on Instagram for that. You never know, I might have Mighty Networks up and running by then. I mean, we are talking about January, you know, but we'll work out how we can enter by the end of January next year. So that's the stripy sock cowl. Let me know what you think. And then the check-in for the square a day is the end of June is 181 squares if you're on a year 1 blanket, or 547 if you're on a year 2. Again, they're just enter on Instagram. If you can't enter on Ravelry, please don't enter in both places because that confuses me. So did that all make sense? Hopefully that all made sense. So let's move on into the actual rotation, and day 1 is socks, so bear with me. I've got my giant coffee again. Right, so my first socks is living in my beautiful Elderflower Stitches bag. And these are my Liberty Lace socks. Now I cannot remember where I was last week when I showed you these. Had I finished this one? No, I'm going with I hadn't because the stitch marker's there. So I have finished my first one. I haven't sewn my ends in yet, but I have finished my first one. And these are just so pretty. Absolutely gorgeous. So the yarn, I need to apologise, the yarn is actually the Victoriana colourway, not Sweet Pea, which is what I thought it was. It's Victoriana and it's from Bumbling Yarns, and it's beautiful. It's this soft pink and sort of undyed with green speckles in it. It's very pretty and shows up this lace pattern perfectly. So that's a better idea of what it looks up like in stocking stitch. And then the mini is just a mini from my stash. And the pattern is by Becky Norman, who has her own podcast. She's got a lovely podcast. His name is escaping me at the moment. I'm sorry, but I'll try and link it down below. But yeah, isn't that lovely? Such a pretty pattern. And it also has this little delicate pattern on the back as well. And I love it. And I have cast on my second sock and apparently made a mess. So I've done the rib. Oh, my little Jiggles and Beans stitch marker is all tangled up in my ends. There we go. So I love that little stitch marker. It's so summery. Fellow podcasters, why is it when you try to show stitch markers they always turn around the other way? So that's the little stitch marker. And yeah, I've just set up basically for the lace row on the cuff of my sock, and I am really enjoying working on them. I don't get as much time to work on them as I would like to, so this is my DPN Cozy for this. This is a So Re Me one, which I thought went very perfectly with this project. It is sock day today, so I'm hoping, because it's Saturday, I might actually get some decent sock knitting time later, and well, when I'm not editing the podcast. But I do have a pair of socks which I'm going to show you in a moment, which will be excellent for editing the podcast. So, and that's the ball of yarn. So pretty. And as I said again, it's Victoriana, not Sweet Pea. That's what happens when you lose the ball bands. So that's that one. And then my second one is hanging out in a beautiful bag I got from Sherry Iris that is been embroidered, and oh, and a bit tangled. And I decided I wanted to make some shorty socks, which I think I showed you last week. So I've had some, I was doing them 2 at a time. I apparently gave up on that idea. I think I was there when I showed you them last week. So I have used all of the purple mini, and I've now just gone into a pink at the bottom there, which is this beautiful pink mini. So I'm anticipating getting this one finished by the end of today whilst I'm editing. So I've done a little tiny cuff, so it's a little short sock but not a trainer sock, and yeah, I'm working my way up my foot. This was a little mini set from Sherry Iris. I don't know what it was. It was from last year, I think. And then that was where I was doing my other one, but I didn't do it. I'm enjoying working on those. They're just a plain vanilla on my 2 circulars. And I'll be honest, I've been knitting them before I've been going to bed actually, which is in bed, which is unusual for me. I don't normally knit in bed, but I've had a couple of very early nights post very busy days where I've kind of needed to decompress on my own and be really antisocial, and kind of needed time away from everybody. And I've been entertaining myself with my favourite TV programme of all time, and sock knitting for like an hour before I go to bed, in the hope that I can just forget about the day and lose myself for a while. And in case you're wondering, my favourite TV programme of all time is Stargate, and I adore that programme. I have been a major fan since the film first came out. So I have been rewatching Stargate. I only started it last Sunday, and I'm on season 4. Yeah, I'm that much of a fan. So yeah, so that's my day 1 is socks, and as I said, today is sock day, so I'm anticipating getting some of those, so you should have that next week. Day 2 is accessories day, as it has been now been renamed. As I said, I've rejigged the knitting project a little bit this now to fit more with what I want to knit. So this is the Killarney scarf, there we go, and it's by Amy Loudon, who's the little tailoress. It's a beautiful scarf, and I didn't get much time to work on this week. I should have done. I should have had a lovely evening doing this, but I just kept getting interrupted by my family. I was getting quite cross with them by the end of it. Now, I was there last week, where that beautiful little stitch marker, that's from Progress Keeper, is from So Sweet Violet. And as you can see, I've put in a new mini. I've started a new mini, which is the prettiest mini. It's sort of pale cream with blues and purples and yellow. It's so pretty, and that's going in next, and it's held double with some, I'm just using Rowan Kid Silk Haze at the moment. Oh gosh, I can see all the fibres flying around. And yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. It's so pretty. Oh. It's going to be massive. I'll let you know how I wear it when I work out how I wear it. But it's so pretty. I love it. I love it so much. Oh, it's going to be gorgeous. It's very soft. So I'm enjoying that, and I'm getting a good chunk of these left over afterwards. So I'm thinking of making something else in them, whether it be a Land of Sweets cowl maybe, or I don't know, another advent project, because I do have quite a bit of these left over at the end of each section, which is nice. Yeah. So the yarn is, sorry, I should have said the yarn is from Dandelion and Dogwood, and was the advent calendar I had from them last year, so my 2020 advent calendar. And yeah, I couldn't be happier with it. I haven't got theirs this year because it is a mixed fibre advent, and as I'm a bit sensitive to mohair depending on my mood, I decided to give that a miss. I mean, I'm fine with this at the moment, and I've not had an issue with it at all. And this is super soft. I could definitely wear it. To the point that now I'm thinking I could wear a love note with it in. Especially if I use the floof, the Surrey alpaca. But it depends. Sometimes I can't. It's just peculiar. So this is hanging out in my taffeta mouse bag, which is, still got a tag on this, Taffety Mouse, which I love. It's such a pretty little bag. So yeah, that's my day 2 accessories. I'm going to run out of places to put things, aren't I? Day 3 is now garment day 1, and is my Edie, which I've swapped over. That's now living in this bag because my love note needed to swap into the bag this was into because it was too big to go into this bag. So this is a bag by Megan, who is a yarn dyer's daughter on Instagram, and this is my Lay Family Yarn EDT, which actually got quite a lot of love this week. And so I'm using just one set of circulars, but I've got a tiny circumference circular, which is great, but obviously isn't great when it comes to showing you lot on the podcast. So this is the EDT by Isabel Kramer, but it has been heavily modified. I decided I wanted longer sleeves on it, and I've put lace on the bottom of the sleeves too. So I found a lace pattern. This is actually an embroidered lace pattern from a sock, believe it or not, and then I extended the sleeve, and then again on that side, and now I've done quite a lot of the body. So I was where that little progress keeper is on there, and I did, which, when you bear in mind this is stocking stitch, that is quite a lot. So I did all that, but I was sitting and chatting a lot, which I'll tell you all about at the end in life stuff. So the top yarn is Daddy's Girl by Lay Family Yarn. The yarn I'm using at the moment, which is now a collapsing ball, is a Cornish Way by Lay Family Yarn, and this was a mango. I think it's a sunset. I can never remember whether it's a sunrise or a sunset. I think it's a sunset, and that's Mango Sunset, which is this one here, which, depending on how long the body is when I finish this, I'm either going to split the hem with this and then just do the lace in this, or I'm going to carry on until I finish this and split the hem in this and then go into the lace. Haven't decided which. I'd like to be able to split this hem in this and then just use this as the lace, but I don't think it's going to be long enough, so I think I'm going to have to use this as well. But it's not a problem. It's very pretty. I love that yarn. This one's sparkly. I'm looking forward to getting this top done. Annoyingly, the weather we're having at the moment, it's cold and wet. It's not cold, it's mild and wet. So actually having something like this to wear would be ideal. So I feel that I'm probably going to get it finished just in time for high summer when it's really hot, or autumn when it's too cold. So it might be next year's garment, but I really love it. I really do love it. And it's knit in a 4-ply superwash merino nylon, and as I said, one of them's got stellina in it as well, because having got burnt with my merino cashmere one that felted, even though I hand washed it, I'm a bit wary and I'm using the superwash. I'll be honest, I'd rather it didn't shrink or felt, or do both, which is what the other one did. So that's that one. So that's day 3. Day 4 is baby items. I've got the cutest little baby item. So that's hanging out in my seaside bag from Busy Pottering. And I am doing, bear with, I am doing, oh, here we go. I am doing a flax light, which is a pattern by Tin Can Knits, and I am using the 4-ply fingering weight yarn that I dyed. This is my Explosion in Green, so I'm using that. I'm so pleased with how this is knitting up actually. This is a tiny, and I'm doing the first size, which is 0 to 6 months. So this is tiny, this little jumper, But how cute is that? Let's just get you, should we get you around the right way? Because you're the back. It's so cute. So I am doing the, jokingly, doing the garter stitch panel on the sleeves. Mine's more of a reverse stocking stitch because I keep forgetting not to purl on one of the rows, but it's not really noticing, to be fair. And yeah, this little jumper caused me so much trouble when I first cast it on. I just couldn't, the brain just wouldn't accept it. But I'm going now. I'm actually just split the sleeves off, and I'm going round and round and round on the body. It's such a cute little pattern. I want to make another one, but without the, that's my dog barking. She's going to be quiet. That's it, she can't be bothered to bark any more than twice. So I'm going to do another one without the garter stitch panel, and I'm possibly going to try and do another one with the garter stitch panel correct. But yeah, as I said, I'm really pleased with how this yarn's knitting up. That's kind of cool. So we're expecting a little grandson at some point in September. This is Ian's son, and I'm going to be knitting all the baby knits for him. He's going to be a very knitted baby, I think. But I can recommend this pattern. The garter stitch, I'm not sure it should be as difficult as I made it. I don't know why, I just couldn't concentrate. But silly me is all I can say. I'm going to try and do it again and do it properly next time, but I love this, I really do. It's really sweet, and I'm really pleased with how that's turning out. So that's my day 4 at the moment, is baby items, and I expect to have lots more flaxes and all sorts going on. Thank you very much for your suggestions for baby patterns. I want to have a look at them all. I want to do a all-in-one cardigan, if I can find a pattern, a baby pattern for that. I might have a look at Tin Can Knits, because they do all of their patterns, and mostly all of their patterns I think are done right down to baby sizes. So that was day 4. So day 5, I mean, this is no surprise that day 5 has now got bumped. So day 5 is normally Mystery Blanket Day, and I've been struggling with it for the last 3 weeks where I haven't done it. So I've bitten the bullet and I've popped it to one side, so that's gone into the long-term whip pile for the moment. Or I should say probably back into it, soon as it's a 2019 whip. And I have popped my love note into day 5 because I want to get one of these 2 jumpers finished. So this is hanging out in my Donna's Designs bag, which is a Flower Fairy bag. And this is the love note, which is also by Tin Can Knits. And I'm kind of getting close to getting it done. But to get it done, I actually do need to work on it. Who knew? So I've got one sleeve done, and I've got the neck on it and the lace panel done, and I'm just going down the second sleeve. So I was there when you last saw it, so I have worked on the sleeve a little bit this week. As I said, didn't get a huge amount of knitting time each day, so that's probably reflexive about as much knitting time as I got. But as I said, I want to get these garments done because I want to start more garments. I want to do one of those, this sort of similar ED. Isabel Kramer has got kind of the ED pattern but with lace. I would like to do that, and I'd like to do that in my Sherry Iris yarn. So I'd like to do the same, like the fade that I'm doing with my Lay Family yarn, but with Sherry Iris. I've got, this is a DK. So this is a DK love note, and this is yarn was dyed for me by the lovely Laura of Bumbling Yarns, a lonely knitter. So my idea is that on garment day 1 it's going to be a fingering weight garment, and on garment day 2, which is day 5, just to confuse you, I want to do a DK weight one because I've got a lot of DK wool yarn, and actually got some more in Happy Mail, or Stash Enhancement I need to call it, because it didn't come through the mail. So I thought, well, I'm just going to have 2 garment slots. It's my knitting project. I can do what I like. You still get variety of seeing 2 different things, but you know, the 6 different things. But I get to make some progress on some items I really want to finish, basically. So I did myself a bit of a talking to. I was like, do you know what? Just do it, Sharon. Just pop it in. Nobody's going to mind, and actually, you're still getting value for money because you're still getting 6 different projects. And yeah, you know, I might actually get something finished. You never know. So that's the love note. It's by Tin Can Knits. It's designed to be knit with fingering weight and mohair held double, but I have done mine in a DK for the moment. So that's day 5. I know I'm really whipping through these this week, but I know you've seen most of these projects before, and I really need to get this done so I can get it edited. Day 6 is blanket day, and this week was the turn of my habitation throw in my Woolly Goodness Scrappy sets, and that's hanging out in a Sheepy bucket that I got from Kelly, Lay Family Yarn. And I have got, so the habitation throw is a throw by Curious Handmade, Helen Stewart. Don't think I've got a big picture, I've only got the little pictures. Yeah, I've only got a little picture, so that gives you an idea of what it looks like. And I'm using all the scrappy boxes I am getting from Jenny, so they come like this, and this will be my next one. So I'm finally in March. This is March's one. This will be the one I'll be going in next. I am just doing the colours of the month, which is the other set I use. This is also the colours of the month for March, which is pretty yellowy pinks. So that's what's going in here. The idea is I'm going to put in June's and then I'm going to start decreasing. So I did a fair bit of progress on this yesterday, because this was yesterday's, which was our Friday adventure day, and I was in the car a little bit. More on that at the end of the podcast. And I was there where that progress keeper is. So I finished February's, and then this is March's colours of the month going in. So that's the end of February. And oh, I love this. It's so pretty. So it started off in this purple, and it's just gone through all of the colours. So we've got all of January in there now, and all of February. Oh, it feels good to say that when I'm holding it up. It's got all of January, all of February, and I'm starting March. Oh, yeah, I really love it. Really love it. So pretty. I love how the colours, so far that section there is my favourite section, from the green to the purple. I love that. But then I like those colours together. I just like it all. So this is Woolly Goodness. She does a lovely little scrappy club each month, which I get, and the colours of the month, which is 3 minis dyed in a certain way of a certain colour. So they're all going in here too. And yeah, I'm really, really pleased with it. So that's my habitation throw, and oh, I did enjoy working on that yesterday. So I will have edited a bit out where I've realised I showed you my address by accident, and I think I was saying that I have various blankets that I work on, and when it comes to blanket day I just decide which one I'm going to work on that day, and that it was the turn of the habitation throw, which I've really enjoyed. So that's that one. Now I have a new segment, which is, if you watch Ellie of Craft House Magic, and if you don't, why not, because you know she's amazing, she's doing a knit along which is called Craft 20 a Day. Now I have moved 3 or 4 of my projects, 4 maybe, of my projects into Craft 20 a Day. I am doing a Cosy Memory blanket square, I'm working for 20 minutes on a jelly roll strip, I'm working for 20 minutes on the baby blanket, and I'm working for 20 minutes on my Kelly blanket. I don't necessarily get time to do all of that in one day, but I'm trying to at least do 20 minutes on something a day. And then this week I did quite well with it, but I'm not going to show you all of them every week because that's just going to be boring. So I'm going to show you them in rotation. And so my my entry for the craft 20 a day this week is my Cosy Memory blanket, which I did manage to do most days, I think. We will now have a small pause for my neighbour and his leaf blower. Bear with. Okay, hopefully we're good. So this is my Cosy Memory blankets squares. Now I decided I wasn't going to do a Cosy Memory blanket this year, and then I realised that actually I did want to keep a little scrap of each of the projects I finished this year. So the ones with progress keepers are ones I worked on this week, and I think I've got one down the bottom here. Yeah, so that was lavender blue from the shawl that I sample knitted for Laura of the Lonely Knitter podcast, and then that also was from there, which is Dilly Dilly. That is my Desert Vista dyework socks. I kind of like how that came out. And then this is from my Maytham shawl that I finished this year too. So that's what it's looking like. I did, how many squares did I do? I did one, no, I didn't do that one. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 20 minutes a day would give me, looks like it gives me about 4 squares. Now I'm not worrying about getting a square a day done for this, because it's not a square a day, it's a 20 minutes a day. And I will have a finite amount of yarn to go in this, because the idea is only to use yarn that's either my Patreon minis from Homespun House, minis from yarn I've dyed, or minis from projects, leftover projects. So I have, you know, I won't have enough yarn to do a square a day. Although looking at that, I've got a fair amount of yarn in there. So this is hanging out in my lovely bucket bag from So Remy. That's her lovely, her little stamp, and this is brilliant for a large blanket project. I may have to have a whiz around on my blanket projects, because my smallest blanket project is in my biggest bag, so I might just swap them all around at some point. But isn't that pretty? I love it. So that's my new segment, which is Craft 20 a Day, which is a knit along that's being run by Ellie of Craft House Magic. As I said, if you don't watch Ellie, please go and check her out, because she's amazing. Next up is my square a day, which is hanging out in a bag from Ellie of Craft House Magic. It's all the Ellie love today. And that's her logo. This is a great bag. It's got pockets, which is ideal for keeping my crochet hook and my scissors in. And then I have the balls of yarn I'm using. That's my magic knot ball I'm making inside. Now this lives inside a bigger bag, but I didn't bring the bigger bag down today. So with this one, I've got a few more squares on this than I would normally have, because obviously it is today Saturday, but I finished that strip, or that half of the strip, last week, and I moved into this one. I love how this is knitting up. So that's a Dusty Dimples, and that's Bumbling Yarns, so that's Laura. And I just love how these have played together. So I've got one more of the Laura's one to go on the end, because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of each, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4. So once I've done that, I will add this to the main blanket, and then I'll do a video of it attached to the main blanket, which hopefully will be in next week's episode. And yeah, so I do it's just granny stitches. Actually, it might be easier to see it on the variegated yarn. It's just granny clusters, and I flip it round each time I finish a round, so it's a very square. It doesn't look at it at the moment, or actually the end one does. They kind of get distorted when you attach them, but when you put them back into the blanket, they're not distorted anymore. And then I'm using a single crochet just to attach them, and then I use a single crochet all the way down to attach it to the main blanket. And I make sure I sew my ends in every morning, otherwise I'd never sew them in. It'd be a lot of ends. And then I'm making a magic knot ball with my leftovers, so that my dusty dimples leftovers are now on there. And then I'm making that messy ball with the ends. The idea being I'm going to make a corner to corner blanket and kind of start and end with this, because it'll be kind of then variegated of all of the yarns. So that's what I've got left of my dusty dimples. No, that's what I've got left of my Laura yarn, which is so pretty. Okay, so I got distracted by the fact I can now hear the leaf blower back again. So I'm going to clear this away, this half away, and then I'm going to get out my stash enhancement section and have a chat. 10 minutes later, I think he's finally stopped. So I've got a stash enhancements section this week, and I've been lucky enough to receive a few other birthday presents as well. So I was really lucky at the weekend. My lovely daughters conspired to get me to knit in public with Lay Family Yarn, and get to see my lovely friend Kelly. And wow, seeing her again after all this time, I was in tears, she was in tears. Oh, emotional to say the least. It was so lovely to see her. I am actually hoping to go and see her again in a couple of weeks. We have a trip out that way, which is fabulous. So yeah, unbeknownst to me, my girls were plotting to sort it all out for me, and my youngest has been insured on my car and can drive my car. She's actually a really good driver, bless her. So that we could share the driving if needs be, because I can only drive an automatic because of my knee, not because I've only got an automatic license, but I can't drive her car. So it was, yeah, the whole thing that they did was amazing. So I got to see my lovely friend Kelly and visit with some other lovely people at Lay Family Yarn. As I said, all a bit of a surprise and all very last minute, and it was fab. But I bought some yarn while I was there, no surprises. This was actually gifted to me by the lovely Kelly, bless her. This is 3 ships, and I absolutely love it. And I asked if they would cake it up for me so I could cast on a pair of socks straight away, which Nick very kindly did. Thank you, Nick. And I got a lovely mini to go with it, which I really like. And I did cast on my pair of socks, so it's got a little twisted cuff. But then I decided I wanted to do a shorty pair but with a pattern, and I want to use one of the Helen Stewart Sock Society patterns. So I kind of stopped, and I'm going to go and find a pattern and just do that on there. So yeah, so that was one of my acquisitions. As I said, it was very kindly gifted to me from Kelly, and this is living in this amazing bag that she made for me, which if you've seen Kelly's podcast, and if not, go check her out, Lay Family Yarn. She kindly made one for me and one for another friend, and yeah, blown away. And actually being able to see it being made was wonderful. And I love my bag. I love my bag. So that's hanging out in there at the moment. It will probably get evicted at the end of the month for the Rainbow Chronicles, when I start my Rainbow Chronicle socks, but I may have got these finished by then, you never know. It is sock day today, so I may very well I love that, very well do some of those today. And so while we're on that, I also bought some DK. So this is Warm and Toasty. It's really pretty. It's got pink and brown speckles in it. And I made some Christmas socks with this. I either finished them late last year or early this year, can't remember. Or did I? It was the year before, actually. I think it was the year before, because I think I knit on these at Kelly's retreat. And I really love this colourway, so I've got 2 of those, and I'm going to pair it up with some more of my DK yarn that I've got to make a jumper. And this is where the idea came from, to move day 5 into DK sweater day, because I just want to get some of these knit, especially, you know, winter's coming up, so it'd be nice to have some DK sweaters. So that, I got that. So that's Lay Family Yarn, the lovely Kelly. and I spent a lovely Saturday in the sun with some lovely friends, and it was just amazing. Really such a nice day, and given the week I then subsequently had, it was probably just as well I had such a great start to it. Otherwise I think I'd have been a bit down, to say the least. I got to meet Ali, who is one of our moderators on the Ravelry group and a really good friend, and she very kindly gave me a birthday present. It started out with a sheep bag which I love, and is a kind of running joke between me and Ali about don't Google sheep, because the amount of sheep stuff you can get is just unbelievable. I got to meet her lovely daughter Madison. Hello Madison. And they very kindly gifted me some washi tape, because we all know I love some washi tape, and the great thing about doing this is I can now finally use my birthday presents. She dyed some little minis, which are very much my colour. They're lovely, aren't they? They are going to go in my Cosy Memory blanket because it is a very cosy memory. She made me this lovely washcloth, which is Gemini. Oh look, how you can see it really well in the camera, Ali. That's Gemini, because that's my star sign. Isn't that fab? Oh, you can see it so well in the camera. Oh, so that was really lovely. And then she made me and Ian a joint present, which was really cute and it's just so sweet, which is a little baby hat. It's gorgeous. So I shall gift that to the parents to be when I've got my jumper done. And yeah, I just love that. Really love it. Such a fun pattern. I'm assuming this is crocheted. So thank you very much, Ali. So that was that one. And then also in the mail I got this lovely bag from my friend Anne, who is busy pottering, and a candle. Haven't got the candle, that's been lit, so that's elsewhere. But I'm actually using this as a makeup bag, which is what it was designed for. But I was going to use it for rainbows because it's got ladybirds on it. But in actual fact, I discovered I needed a makeup bag when my one broke. So I was like, okay, makeup bag. So yeah, love that. Thank you very much, Anne. And then I was thoroughly spoilt by the lovely Paula, who is stitched by Mrs. D. Again, has a podcast, so if you don't watch her, go check her out. She is amazing. And I have been craving these buckets that she's been making. She didn't know that, but she's very kindly, look, it's got blue and white polka dots inside and then blue flowers on the outside. She's done my favourite colour, and oh yeah, because I love these buckets for knitting blankets. And oh yeah, oh, and I tell you, I opened this Thursday evening because I only work 4 days a week. Thought I was going to have to work Friday for a while, but luckily I was given the weekend off. And I just finished Thursday, so I was feeling emotional anyway because I was so tired. And then I opened this and it was just like, oh wow, I've so wanted one of these. And yeah, just a few tears were shed, shall we say. So obviously I had an emotional week, haven't I? And last but not least, I got my Scrappy Books set for June. So if you've not had yours, so it's the Scrappy Box from Really Goodness. So if you've not had yours, look away. And that was the inspiration photo. And so it's that one. So this is 5 gram mini skeins. Really pretty little progress keeper. And the minis, so pretty. So they, of course, will be going into my habitation tray. So that's it for my stash enhancement for today. Just into life stuff. So we were very lucky, or I was very lucky to get in visit everybody at the weekend. I didn't think I'd be able to go. In fact, I had something arranged with another daughter who had conspired all this. I didn't know that, bless them. So it's all been very kind of last minute and but so much fun, so much fun. It was a long day, it's a long journey. Meg did well to drive that all that way over there and back. But now I know that you can do it in a day. Kelly is no longer safe. So that was Saturday. Sunday I just had a recovery day at home. I did quite a bit of knitting on Sunday. Can't remember what I knit, but I did do quite a bit. And then Monday went into a very difficult work week. Tuesday I did not do guides because I was exhausted from the day on Tuesday, and you can probably hear in my throat I've got a bit of a thing going on. Meg's had a really awful cold, and I think I've had sort of like the tail, kind of a little bit of it, but not all of it. I haven't had it as bad as she had it. That was Reese blowing his nose. My family are out and about. It's Saturday, so I'm really sorry about the ambient noise, but you're gonna get it. We're nearly done now anyway. So Tuesday I didn't do guides. Wednesday was the night when I was hoping to do my Killarney scarf because I didn't have anything in the evening. It was a nice evening. I was going to sit outside, and if I got interrupted once, I got interrupted a million times. And that was the night where I was like, I just need to go and decompress. I took myself off upstairs, had a bath, and then sat on the bed and knit those socks for an hour watching Stargate, and kind of just said to everybody, just leave me alone. I need some space. And then Thursday it was really rainy here, like monsoon type rain, which we've kind of had the last couple of days, and we did brownies in the rain outside. Luckily we've got some shelter, but the shelter leaks, so that was fun. So I got very wet Thursday night. And then yesterday, Friday, is our Friday Adventures. Now you have got Friday Adventure footage because I recorded on Thursday. Last Friday's Adventures is actually this podcast's Friday Adventure, but yesterday's Friday Adventure we got rained off. We were going to go to Kemble so Ian could spot an aeroplane, but it took us an hour and a half to go 30 miles on the M25 because it was so bad. So we came off at I think it was the M3 and just turned for home. We just came home. We just were like, avoid the motorway, we're going home. It was so flooded. So we actually abandoned our Friday adventure yesterday. It was more of an adventure than we were planning. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do about the vlog for next podcast. I might have to try and vlog something during the week for you. So yeah, that got abandoned. And then today I'm recording the podcast. I'm at home so I can record the podcast. I want to get it edited so that I can get it scheduled to go up tomorrow. And then tomorrow I don't know what our plans are. It's Father's Day here in the UK. I don't know if it's Father's Day worldwide, but it certainly is in the UK. So Ian's boys may have something planned for him. If not, then we might try this trip to Kemble for the plane again so he can have a special day. When I say if not, it's not because they don't do things, it's just that they both work, so they could be working. I've got to fly. Go away, fly. They could both be working. Yeah, so that's... And then next week I go back into my difficult work, but it doesn't matter. It's got to be done, and one day it will be over. By October. Maybe about October the 10th. It's quite a long way in the future, but it is what it is. At least I have a job. Just how I keep looking at it, and I can work from home. Although that does make it much more difficult to walk away from your work, I have to say. When you're working at home, you can't just shut the door and walk away. Although I have tried a couple of times. I've just shut the door in here and gone and sat in the lounge and just gone, nope, that's it, I'm done. That's it, I think, from me. I'm not sure I've got too much vlog footage. I have got some from last week. We went to the Isle of Grain and it was beautiful. So I think we've got some of that following. There's a little bit of Kelly's shop, but that's as much as I videoed because I decided I just wanted to be social. And then I think that's it. I honestly think that's it. I don't think there's much at the end of this. So hopefully this one's a shorter one after my mammoth bumper birthday issue last week. Oh dear. So I hope you're all okay wherever you are. Take care and I'll see you next week.